America summoned today a large group of ambassadors and consuls, more than 30 diplomats from different parts of the world, including its ambassadors in Egypt and Algeria. The important thing is, more than half of these ambassadors are from Africa or are in Africa. But even in Europe, things are no less mysterious at all. There in France, in Germany, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in some countries in Asia, so that's the important thing. Is this just an administrative procedure? Of course not. All these movements raise one question. What is America planning? Why is America withdrawing diplomatically today? What will happen in these countries in the coming months? There is something serious coming, and America is preparing for it now. What is this thing that we will reveal step by step today? Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our program today in this renewed episode, God willing, of the Opinion Today series. As everyone knows, dear viewers, the world is experiencing major transformations in various fields. Among these are some strange changes. In fact, one of these changes, which will have a very significant impact on America and the entire world, is the news that spread widely today. It talks about how America has recalled 30 diplomats, including ambassadors and consuls from various countries around the world. They were informed that their diplomatic missions have ended or will end with the beginning of next January. What's strange is that most of these American ambassadors have been recalled from African villages. There are about 15 American ambassadors whose diplomatic missions have ended in Africa, including the American ambassador in Algeria and the one in Egypt. So when we look at the list of these countries, we find that the American administration is planning something. So pay close attention here. Pay attention to this list. In Africa, we find Egypt, Algeria, Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, Gabon, Cameroon, Niger, Nigeria, Somalia, Cape Verde, Uganda, Rwanda, Madagascar, Mauritius, and Burundi. In Asia, we find about 9 countries as well: Armenia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Fiji, Laos, the Marshall Islands, Papua New Guinea, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. In Europe, we find 3 countries: North Macedonia, Montenegro, and Slovakia. Meanwhile, in the American continent, which is considered the top priority in the United States national security strategy, we find 2 countries, Guatemala and Suriname. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, when we talk about the collective withdrawal of such a large number of ambassadors at once, this means that something is going on. There is a major strategic shift. This is not a normal protocol procedure. This is a strategic shift. America, during this year since Trump took office as President of the United States, many things have changed at the diplomatic level. America, for example, during this year announced that it will close 10 embassies in a number of countries, and also announced that it will close 17 general consulates in a number of countries as well. But this list that was discussed today, meaning the countries from which America will withdraw its ambassadors, is completely different from the embassies that are scheduled to be closed permanently. So the list of countries where America will close its embassy, we find countries like Luxembourg, Malta, the Maldives, and from Africa as well, Congo and Central Africa. Meanwhile, the countries from which ambassadors will be withdrawn now are other countries, as I mentioned, like Egypt, Algeria, and so on. The countries I mentioned. This means there is a new shift. The change will include almost 40 countries, and that's not even mentioning the consulates. The consulates that will also be closed in prominent countries like Britain, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, and a number of other countries. There are really strange things happening today, raising suspicion and doubt among everyone. How far is America planning? What exactly does Trump want? Today, for example, we will talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina. This country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, has an American embassy in the capital, Sarajevo, and there is an American consulate in a city called Mostar in the south of the country, where the majority of the population are Croats, and there is another American consulate in a city called Banja Luka. The capital of this city is the capital of what is called the Republika Srpska, which means that the vast majority of the population there are Serbs. So pay attention here. Even though this country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, is small in size, it's almost about half the size of the United Arab Emirates. And despite that, the United States has 3 diplomatic missions there. Why have both an embassy and a consulate? Because the country is threatened with division, so it made sense for the United States to have 2 consulates, one in the north and one in the south, to maintain balance, political balance and ethnic balance. But Trump made the decision to close both consulates now, so everyone should pay attention, because closing consulates elsewhere might be normal and doesn't create any vacuum. It's a normal thing because the region, or rather this city, isn't demanding separation. But closing the consulates in Banja Luka is a very dangerous step because this city is considered a capital. What is called today the Republic of Srpska, which is demanding separation, supported by Russia and supported by Serbia. This region, through the recent events it has witnessed, is gradually moving towards separation from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And now it receives a gift from Trump, the closure of American consulates. This means that America is withdrawing and leaving the field open for Russia. Because closing a consulate doesn't just mean stopping consular and administrative services. The most important role of the consulate is intelligence work, gathering information about the region, its population, and everything that concerns this area. So logically, the greater the risk of separatism in a certain area, the greater the need for a diplomatic presence on the ground, especially for a country like America. But what actually happened is the opposite, which is truly incomprehensible, because the reasons announced by the American administration say that they will close these embassies and consulates to reduce expenses, but in reality we still see this consulate. It doesn't really pose a burden on the American administration, as much as it forms American influence in a region threatened by secession, threatened by moving toward Russia, threatened by becoming a region of Russian influence. Therefore, what's happening today is a very significant geostrategic shift. This isn't random. It's happening because something serious is coming to the region. America can't just leave this region like that. It means there's something dangerous coming to the region, and today America is trying to preempt this by withdrawing from the region. America knows that the situation in Europe does not bode well. A major war is coming, and this region is a zone of tension, a zone of conflict, a zone of confrontation between Russian and European influence. Therefore, America knows that separation in this region is inevitable and definitely coming. It's a matter of activation. It is avoiding this confrontation. It does not want to be in the line of fire. It does not want to be in a direct military or political confrontation in this region, which could possibly lead it into a major war. So what is it doing now? It is closing the consulate to avoid any direct friction with the separatist leadership and with what is coming. At the same time, it is trying to avoid taking responsibility for this upcoming separation. It is leaving the file in Aden in the hands of the Europeans, especially in the hands of Germany. In short, it is involving Europe, involving Germany. What does this mean? It means there is a tactical withdrawal. So this is just an example, and this example is strongly repeating itself in Europe. For example, we find that America will close 5 consulates at once in France, and it will close 5 consulates in Germany. So it's clear that something serious is coming, and America is quietly getting ready, preparing without drawing attention, gradually and silently. Maybe it's the Great War, which will certainly be nuclear. America is gradually moving its employees away from danger, distancing itself from the risk so it doesn't get involved in this war, so it withdraws. This gradual process means that something serious is coming. The same thing is happening in a number of other regions, even in Africa, in South Africa, and also in Somalia. So the areas that America sees as major conflict zones between Europe and Russia, it withdraws from them and leaves the issue in the hands of the Europeans. Therefore, there will be embassies that will close and there will be consulates that will close. But what's strange is this list of countries whose ambassadors were exempted from their duties there. This raises a very big question mark. Is this just in preparation for changing the ambassadors, or is it something else? Because this is the first time it's being done this way. Ambassador changes are usually gradual. It typically includes just 3 to 5 countries, not 30 or 40 at once. And usually the new ambassador is appointed before the current ambassador's term ends. History shows that when America ends the terms of its ambassadors in this way, it is preparing for a period of wide regional turmoil, getting ready to face major changes in the balance of power. So, the thing that makes us think the most today is the presence of 2 Arab countries on this list, the presence of Egypt and Algeria. What is being planned for Egypt? And what is being planned for Algeria? Egypt is now preparing for something serious that's coming. There are also suspicious moves that Egypt is making right now. The Egyptian President Sisi is now preparing for a possible visit to America. He wants to meet with President Trump during this visit. The Egyptian army has also recently deployed Chinese-made HQ-9B air defense systems in the Sinai region, an area where the deployment of such heavy weapons is prohibited. This is the same system that Morocco owns today. This system, which is the only one capable of detecting stealth aircraft and shooting down missiles, is an upgraded version of the Russian-made S-300. We also find politically that Egypt has asked Israel to make changes to the peace agreement signed in 1979. Egypt told Israel clearly that this agreement has become outdated and that its time has passed and that changes need to be made to it. These rapid geostrategic changes match regional and global developments. At the same time, we see that Egypt is getting much closer to Turkey, to Russia, and to China. And it's well known to everyone that Turkey is in a major conflict with Israel, the spoiled child of America, and Russia is in a major conflict with Europe, and China is in a major conflict with America. Egypt is not just any country. It's pivotal in the region and controls the Suez Canal, the main trade route between East and West. So there is something going on behind the scenes being prepared right now, which is what made America end the mission of its ambassador in Cairo. We find the same thing with Algeria as well, almost the same thing. These countries, meaning Egypt and Algeria, are threatened to become a conflict zone between Russia and Europe. It's clear that wherever the spark of the major war starts, wherever it is, it will definitely spread to these countries, to Algeria and to Egypt. And this is due to several geopolitical considerations. We're talking about the African depth, we're talking about the Sahel countries, the borders with the Sahel countries, we're talking about the Horn of Africa, we're talking about the Renaissance Dam crisis, we're talking about the conflict with Israel. There are a number of considerations even today if we analyze, this list from which America will withdraw its ambassadors. We find all the troublesome countries on this list. They are located in geopolitically sensitive areas, in regions that lie on the front lines between Russia and Europe, or between China and America. So America is actually preparing for a complex global crisis, and no one knows how it might end. The world is moving very quickly towards something dangerous that's coming here. Dear viewers, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and goodbye.